Jags, here's a trade from no name guy at Bull Bleep account 77 asks, what scenarios would you consider as reasonable for the Jaguars to move up for one of the top 3 wide receivers? How far would one of them need to fall for you to give the trade up an A+ grade? Sully, what do you think?
I think if they go to number 10, like if Odunze is still on the board, like, okay, that to me would make some sense to move up and possibly take him there. Now, I'd have some questions if the Jets wouldn't just select him, or Brock Bowers or something, a pass catcher like that. But I think you move up. What do they have, 17 again, I believe? You move up 7 spots, you go up to number 10, you get yourself another bona fide wide receiver to pair with Lawrence, Gabe Davis, and all those guys, then sure. Okay, that to me would be a very good haul.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think the Bears could also be a good trade partner at number 9, but it's not easy to get up from 17 to 9. We've talked about the trade charts and the point system that people use to kind of look to see what they would need to give up. I mean, Jacksonville would probably at the minimum have to give up their 2nd round pick, which is 48th overall, and then maybe even tack some, and obviously their 1st round pick also, and then maybe tack a little something on top of that to get into the top 10. But, if you're desperate for a wide receiver and you feel like, hey, look, this guy's going to be a game changer and Trevor Lawrence, we need to get him a weapon, then it's not crazy. So I think they would have to give up 17 and probably 48 to get up there.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you go to how many spots did the Falcons jump when they got Julio Jones?
I think
they
that
moved
was
up to 4.
That was a lot, right?
They moved up from like 22 to 4. Gave it like 3 first, I think. Yeah, I'm not suggesting the Jaguars do that. I mean, but like, I just think that's an interesting one, because even at the time, we were like, all right, like, you got to look at this a couple different ways. This is not for a quarterback. Julio Jones is that good. He is that good. Like, he is that good a player. He had that good a career where you can justify, like, we were right about the player. The issue here is that the Browns did such a poor job using the picks that it's easy to be like, the Falcons won that deal. And I think,
the Falcons jumped from number 27 overall to 6th overall.
Because AJ Green went 4th, and then
that is insane.
Yeah. Who is it? Baldwin and who were the 2 receivers down at the end of that draft? They ended up going there. They were bad. The 49ers took one, the Chiefs took one. Jonathan Baldwin and
the Niners
taking that draft. He was just a terrible receiver. Anyway, point being is, like, I think you got to go to, like, you got to get ahead of the Bears at 9 probably. I don't see the Jets or the Bears. I know those are the teams you're mentioning. I just don't see them trading out if Neighbors, Odunze, or Marvin Harrison, who won't he's not gonna fall. But like, if any one of those 3 lands is there at 9 or 10, I don't really see him trading out. I see him sitting there and taking those guys. They need wide receivers to help, young quarterback or help an old quarterback. I think both the Bears and the Jets are possibilities for, for getting offensive linemen as well. But if one of those receivers is there, I mean, these guys are blue chip wide receivers. So I think you got to get up to at least 8. And I don't think it's crazy to suggest Atlanta, who most people have taken Dallas Turner there at 8. We actually saw Jonathan Jones had them taking
Michael Penix.
Michael Penix out of Washington, which would be wild after paying Kirk Cousins that money. I'm not saying it won't happen, just would be wild. I think the Falcons and the Jaguars would make an interesting trade partner, because you're looking at a team where it's like, all right, give us a 2nd round pick, and maybe you move from 8 to 17, or like 2 seconds or a 2nd and 3rd or something like that. I think Atlanta would be willing to do that to try and take some shots at defensive players in this draft. So I'll say the Falcons at 8 make a lot of sense there.
I will say, though, real quick, the one thing that could hurt Jacksonville is that you have teams ahead of them, the Saints at 14, the Colts at 15, who could be interested in taking a receiver. And so if those teams start thinking about trading up, they're closer, might be easier for them to get a deal done. So that is and obviously that's not ideal for Jacksonville when the teams above you might be eyeing that 3rd receiver the same way you are.
Or just the Jets in Chicago. Like, if that picks up the sale, do you go up?
I do think the Jets in Chicago could, they might not go receiver. We've talked about maybe tight end, The Bears could go with a pass rusher. They might think, you know what, we have Keenan Allen, we have DJ Moore, we can hold off till the second round to get a receiver. So I do think it's not definite that each of those teams will take a receiver, but like you said, both absolutely could use one. So it wouldn't be surprising.